I'm Matthew. I was a photographer for 35 years, doing corporate photography, and I've gradually retired, and I think that's now my official status. And I now potter and have many projects that I do. This is a glorified solar panel ramp that grew into something else as I wanted to put solar panels on the house, and it wasn't quite in the right position, the angle wasn't quite right, so I built this shed to put those on, and it developed into a workshop. I wasn't allowed to do woodwork at school. My mother insisted I do an extra O-level in biology, so I had to give up woodwork. But at the age of 16 I went to a work camp in France in order to learn French, and I was restoring a chateau in the south of France, which I spent the summer doing, which was absolutely joyful, and that gave me an absolute passion for building and for masonry and woodwork. You know, with the skills that I picked up and the interest I picked up as a 16-year-old, I spent a lot of my life doing up houses and moving on, and I ended up managing about 15 houses for people in London before I moved out of London. I'm building a TARDIS for my son, which has been a project a long time coming. So when it's finished, it will be, I'm also creating the garden with a hedge for it to sit in a hedge, and the TARDIS itself will sit proud of the hedge, and then behind the hedge will be the inside of the TARDIS, bigger on the inside, and there'll be another shed hidden behind. And it's made up of 20 pieces per side, and they all are cut at angles, and they all have to fit together beautifully. I had a previous table saw, and I cut my first pieces of wood, and they were just wibbly wobbly, and getting the accuracy was, so I was looking for something sturdier and bigger. There were many second-hand that I could buy, but they are wrought iron lumps of weight, and there was no way of moving them, and I'm quite restricted on space in here. So I was looking around on the web, and I found Felder, and they came back and answered all my questions with great patience. And one of the things that I absolutely liked about this was the fact that it has the wheel, and you can turn and move the saw, and I bought that option. Russell and Sales has been fantastic at answering all my questions, great patience, and after Sales he has not deserted me and has still answered questions. Well, it's just a joy, isn't it, to work with something which is nice and precise, and you're not fighting the equipment, and the equipment works for you rather than, fighting against it. It's just solid, it's there, you run the wood over it, and so you can rely on it. Fantastic.